Are you guys hearing the feed in the background? Okay, hello everybody. It's Tom Chenault, and it is our radio show, and we are doing it. We've got it completely wired in. We've done this thing from stem to stern. Marianne's bringing her computer over here to so I can even watch it while we're here. So she's feeding right now into Facebook to share it all over the place. And then she's going to be my guest today, and the show's going to start in about a minute and a half. We'll be on live radio on Genesis Communications Network, and that's a that's a blowtorch of a station. That's owned by Ted Anderson. He's got all kinds of things going on over there. He's got George Norrie. He's got Alex Jones. He's got Mary Lou Henner. He's got Dr. Joanne Conaway. He's got Aaron Titus one of these days. It's going to be an unbelievable show. It's an unbelievable network, and he is just an amazing guy. He has just been a complete champion for me, for the radio business, for AM radio all over the world, and he's not slowing down. And I just am forever indebted to him. I think he and a guy named Michael Zwirling pretty much made my commercial. Today's show is going to start in about 40 seconds, and we're going to be simulcasting on AM radio while we're doing this Facebook Live. So during the commercials on AM radio, we will just kind of unplug and do half-ass commercials for you on this thing. So I can even say bad words on this because I don't have the FTC chasing me down. So that's kind of funny. But, yeah, and then in the other side of the screen, you're going to see Marianne Niehaus any second, and she is my sidekick, as you know, and she's a rock star in her own right. So we're going live in about 10 seconds. We'll take a tiny, like a 5-second pause to calibrate, and we'll go. And it's going to happen in about 6 seconds. Got Marianne. Isn't this cute?
Oh, we're sitting so close. This is crazy.
And hello, everybody. It's the Tom Chenault Show on a Saturday afternoon here in Longmont, Colorado. I hope you are all having an unbelievable day. We are off to the races on this new format, and it is going to be insane. First guest up, I think, is going to be a guy named Bob Bodine, either that or a guy named John Rulin. Bob Bodine wrote The Power of Who, and John Rulin wrote Giftology. And both of those books are unbelievable books, and you should read them for sure. Bob Crisp, you guys know he wrote Raising a Giant, Feeding a Giant, and they are both unbelievable too. Amateur that I am in the radio business, I have completely and totally forgotten to introduce my unbelievable co-host, the producer of the show, vice president of everything, just about a mother to me. Hello, Marianne.
One of these days I got to get past the mother comment. But, well, hi, Tom. How are you? This is great, looking at ourselves here and knowing that we're on Facebook Live. And I've read all of those books, and they're all excellent, above excellent. So that's cool.
And you can roll through that. You know, you go to GoPro, you go to the 4-year career. I heard Richard Brooke is doing a big free webinar for his, it might be his, it's an anniversary of some sort, like 50-year anniversary for something or 10-year anniversary for something else. But that's happening in a couple days. So go look at Richard Brooke and see what he's up to, because I think you're going to pick up an unbelievable webinar for nothing there. I'm watching Eric Worre and Rob Sperry did an unbelievable little Facebook Live a couple of days ago. If you guys aren't following Rob Sperry in the game of networking, you're making a mistake. If you're not following Eric Worre, that's a big mistake too. He is, you know, I don't know what you want to call him, maybe the godfather, the grandfather, the grand poopah of network marketing. I believe my career has been enhanced as a result of what I've done in the form of following his work, and I think you're the same way, aren't you?
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting, because I think back, you know, even just several years ago when I got into network marketing, a lot of these guys weren't really around. You know, they might have just been getting started. And now we're so fortunate to have all of these tremendous tools out there and tremendous webinars for us to participate in, you know, that are they're not specific to your company, right? They're just generic around network marketing.
And I wanted to do this show today, and the reason I kind of wanted to do it when unplugged, well, there were two reasons for it. One is I wanted to make sure it was going to work, and I didn't want a remote guest, so I'd have to shoot myself. We tried it with Garrett McGrath, and they said I kept leaning into his box on the screen and doing all this stuff because I'm an idiot and I don't know how to sit still.
So look.
Yeah.
This way you can't lean.
Yeah, so they've got me all crammed next to her, so I don't necessarily, I hope she's not my mother because that would be rather incestuous.
Crazy.
So now you're just the wife of a great man named Ken Niehaus, and I'm going to keep my distance if I can. But, yeah, so the ANMP, I want to talk about that because that's the next big generic event, in my opinion, and that's coming up right around the corner. And there are about 70 really, really good speakers from various companies all around the country. And each one of them get 18 minutes. So it's like all these little TED Talks. It's just a bunch of that. And I am on the selection committee along with Keith Halls, along with Chris Gross, along with Garrett McGrath, along with Lisa Grossman, and I forgot somebody and I can't remember who it was. But the reason there's a selection committee and the reason it's structured the way it is so no one is ever able to buy their way to the stage. And I know it's that way over at GoPro too. You can't buy yourself to the stage. It's just bringing in the best people that you can and going down there and listening to these guys do these little TED Talks. It's going to absolutely knock your socks off, and we want you to go, not because I make any money on it. It's a nonprofit. It's for the good of the profession, as does everybody that participates. Nobody's paid, and it is world class. You're going to love it. A special shout out on that to Garrett McGrath, Sylvia McGrath, and Keith Halls. I think they do most of the heavy lifting over there. There's a ton of great board members, Jordan Adler and Donna Johnson and Sarah Robbins, and like I said, a few of the other people I just mentioned, Brian McMullen, that come to mind. But I'll tell you, this profession is worth protecting, and we want you to do that. But a lot of people listening, especially all over the state of Utah, I just found out that they have picked us up literally all over the state, especially in Salt Lake City. So if you're in your car driving today and you're starting to think, man, there's got to be something else. I'm not going to do one of those pyramid schemes. I'm not going to do multi-level marketing. This complete state is absolutely populated with those things, and I don't want to become one of them. And I'm going to tell you, yes, you do. Wherever you live, yes, you do. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because it is the greatest side gig ever. And I know a lot of you are talking about Uber and Lyft and Instacart and all the stuff that you can do to make a couple extra bucks, but you're basically just getting bought at below wholesale and sold at retail. And in network marketing, it's exactly the opposite. Don't you agree, Marianne?
Yeah, and what's interesting, I think they're even teaching network marketing at universities now. And so
that's a strike one.
That's a strike one. No.
So what?
Well, I'm just saying that if it's something, a course, that's accredited that you could actually get a degree in,
Well, I would love you.
I would never do that. I would never.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I'd love you to go up to you just go to syllabus from the University of Colorado for all the classes that they have, like basket weaving and all the crazy stuff that you do for credits and multi-level marketing. It must be good.
I should take that.
That is not a credit. That is not an enhancement to the conversation, Marianne. That just means they jam somebody in there. But the fact of the matter is, and it is a fact, a lot of people get their lives back. Mm-hmm. And this isn't about some story about everybody's going to become a millionaire or a billionaire. This is really hard work that takes a long time. But I'm going to tell you, most people don't need to become billionaires or millionaires. They're in the trick bag. They need to make an extra few $100s a month. That's why they're driving Uber. That's why they're doing Lyft. That's why they're doing Instacart and all that stuff. And guess what? If that's what they're doing it for, and they can do the same thing in network marketing without wearing out their car, without leaving their family, I want them to be able to do it. And it's just it's opening your brain and closing your mouth for just a little bit of time probably, and listening to some people that really have done it, that can teach you to do it. I mean, it's just arithmetic. All it is a very efficient word of mouth product delivery system. And it's up to you which product you want to deliver. It can be nutrition, it can be coffee, it can be skincare, it can be bracelets. You got that World company that's got the bracelets. You got these guys doing the crypto, which I'm completely allergic to in network marketing, by the way, but they're doing it. Yeah. I don't care what it is, but I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the day, you're not only selling that product. Over and above that, you're selling hope. And with that hope comes great responsibility. And inside of that great responsibility, you've got to choose wisely and understand that you are truly taking people's lives under your umbrella to try to help them have a better life. And you better take that seriously, right?
Yeah, I mean, I I have a better life, and in the beginning, I just wanted to be able to buy healthy food for my kids. And eventually I wanted to be able to get a new car. And eventually I wanted to be able to do some traveling. And eventually I want to retire my husband. So, all of those things have happened for me.
I've talked about that a million times. And I want you women. The business is about 80% women. And I want you all to say the same thing Marianne just did in case her husband's listening, which is, I want to retire my husband. But whatever you do, don't do it. They're just going to be sitting around all the time. You don't want
They're going to be hanging out with Tom. Yeah,
they're just going to be bugging the heck out of you. So you want to tell them that so they don't mind you leaving Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings to go to a training. But at the end of the day, that whole speech, retirement is such a goofy word.
Yeah.
I'm 66 years old, so I'm at the retirement age. I'm the guy that's supposed to be thinking about retirement here. I can't imagine retirement. I can't imagine slowing down. I can't imagine leaving my friends behind. Now, I do understand retirement for people that have terrible jobs, where they have to go someplace that they don't want to go to for not enough money, where they've been doing it so long there's no eye of the tiger anymore, where it's no fun. But my job is exactly the opposite. I love what I do. I can't imagine doing something else. And all I want to do is get better at it, get healthier so I live longer, so I can make more contribution and use my network marketing business to travel this great world. Because you just talked about travel and going to Russia, going to Amsterdam, going to all the places that I've gone to build my business. Yet I stayed about 5 days, 6 days too many every time. I'm going to Malaysia in a couple of weeks to do exactly the same thing. It's just unbelievable. Somebody called up and said, would you help me train my downline in Singapore? And I said, well, I don't know. And they said, there's a Formula One race that weekend. I said, I'm on my way.
I think I'm going.
Because I can write it off. I can go do that, and I can also, build my business. And the name of the game is making sure that you've got that kind of thought process where you're working all the time and you're playing all the time and you love doing both of them.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think you're really good. You talked about that, is showing that you're working hard, but you're also playing hard at the same time. And that's what this kind of business does for you.
Yeah. And this business is, the whole premise of what we do here on this show is to maybe make the profession better, where we're professional network marketers, not those goofy MLMers that sneak up on you with, having somebody over for dinner and having circles for dessert, or you walk into them and run into them in a Starbucks or something like that, and they're talking about you being a millionaire tomorrow. That's not this. This is a business model that you execute for a very small amount of money to get started that's probably money back guaranteed, where you are dictating the course of your business and ultimately your life. And it's on you whether or not you want to make it incredibly awesome, or if you decide that you want to take it, halfway and do it as you did it. The good news about network marketing is you are your own boss, and the bad news about network marketing is you are your own boss, because as your own boss, most of the time, we've been trained to try to get away with it, to do just enough. And there's a book out there called The Edgy Conversations by a guy named Dan Waldschmidt. And I would tell you to go get that book, because it will tell you that you have got far more in the tank than you are letting people know, because we've been trained to only give so much, even though there's so much more to give. But at the end of the day, true fulfillment comes when you give it all you've got. And you've read that book.
I've read that book, and I've worked with Dan. And, it's so true when you look at people playing it so small. And we do that in our jobs. We do that in our life. We do that in our marriage. And that it really was a turning point when I read that book about how much more I've got in the tank. You know it. You've got more. We've all got more. So let's, do more. But you're right. This business is hard. It is hard work. And so those who are out there telling you, it's a piece of cake, that's not right. All right, look at that.
So what's going to happen in about 30 seconds, is we're going to take a break. But we're not going to really take a break here on the TV show. So during the break, we're going to talk, and Marianne's going to tell me about the comments, and we're going to talk to all you people live from here that are actually watching this thing that have no life on a Saturday afternoon. So we'll be back right after this. It's the Tom Chenault Show.
Okay.
All right, man. You have to cough or anything, Marianne?
No, no, I don't.
So they can
Oh my
hear-
gosh.
Let me
Ken
see.
Smith's on there. Hey, Ken. How are you guys today? Him and his beautiful wife.
Look at, this is unbelievable. Louise Adrian, I'll tell you what's so cool about having her on here is she's an international icon in network marketing, especially party plane businesses. She is amazing. She knows everybody all over the world. Everybody thinks the world of her. My buddy Hanny Sai, I'm telling you, not only did she's a I don't know if she's a doctor. She's at least a nurse.
Amazing.
Over at Duke University. She's going to the Philippines. She's changing the world. Thomas Tidland. I just mentioned his wife a few minutes ago. It's a miracle. Donna Johnson. Thomas is one of the cutest, coolest guys and best looking guys I've ever seen in my life.
In network marketing.
Yeah, my buddy Wendy Matthews, she decided to go to the ANMP with us. That's really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Broderick and I have been banging each other around for years in network marketing. That's pretty doggone cool, too. And it's amazing to me that we are able to do what we're doing and changing venues. You know, we had the largest home-based business radio show in the world. It took a big decision to say, okay, we're going to move this thing over to another platform at the same time and see if we can create a listenership on Facebook while we're doing the radio show. And what's going to happen, and so you know this, is we're going to shift this show to 3 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time, which is 5 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time on Tuesdays. And we're going to shift it to that time slot because the statistics show that that's a better time slot to be doing something for Facebook Live and also the radio and the whole shot. So we're going to undergo another iteration starting next Tuesday. So that's going to be pretty cool for you, but it might not be next Tuesday because I'll be down at Colorado State Penitentiary working with all those inmates down there. So we might have to wait a week to launch this idea. But it is going to be off the hook, and you are going to love it. And it's going to just, what we're trying to do is really, really create a show that you can watch that's going to bring in the best people in network marketing and have fun doing it. And that's that simple.
Yeah, so we'll be doing it Facebook Live, but we're also going to be pushing out to our radio station, so to our listeners, which are at different times. Our show runs at different times all over the place. So this way we'll be able to push it out, and people will be able to listen to it on the radio, listen to it in Utah, listen to it all over the place, and see us on Facebook. Yeah,
and then we're going to come back in 1 minute onto the actual radio again.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife, I told her about this bag. Do you like this shirt? Yeah. I agonized over what shirt to wear. And
I told him he had to dress up.
Yeah, she
that's
told me
not
I
normal.
had to look nice.
Yeah.
And the second I walked in, John Farragher told me I had a spot somewhere, So in the course of this came from the dry cleaner. I take it off. I walk out of my house. I don't touch an eye. Food just flies through the air and finds me. I look like that trash can on, what's the show? Snoopy, whatever that show is. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So we're going to come back in about 30 seconds, and we are going to light it up one more time for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and do another couple big segments, and we'll get out of here. But, it is great. My producer, Marianne, are you kidding me? All right, we're coming back right now. Here we go. All right, we're back. It's Tom Chenault. It's the Tom Chenault Show. I'm with my sidekick in blue.
I'm
She's
getting so many
beautiful.
compliments.
Everybody, Lorraine Williamson's like her agent or something. And
I love her.
She's calling from the peanut gallery telling Marianne how nice she looks, which is really, really great. Hey, are we back? And we're simulcasting over all kinds of platforms here. We're on GCN, the great radio station owned by my buddy Ted Anderson. He is an amazing guy. As I said during a break where he couldn't hear it on his air, I'll tell you, it's just been a glorious relationship having him, Michael Zwirling, and that crew over at GCN just saved my life year after year after year. I'm honored to be on the show with people like George Norrie and Mary Lou Henner and people like that. Joanne Conaway.
Joanne. You know what? And I got to say, because we had to work with their studio, to get this all set up, and we've had some real pressure moments. But John over there was just a trooper and helped us work all through all of our ins and outs and whatever else was going on, but we got it.
It's too bad you guys can't see the studio. I mean, this place has turned.
This is crazy.
I'm such an idiot. I thought we were going to just start like with a camera, just like a little Kodak camera. Now this place, we're sweating. We're in all these lights because they don't, they said, Tom, your hair, you just shine. You look like a sweaty shine machine. So they had to do all kinds of stuff. It's just been horrible. But we're back to the Home-Based Business Radio Show, and I want to talk about that a little more because we are talking about important stuff. And during the first segment, of course, I told you to join the ANMP, but I didn't tell you the website. The website is theanmp.com. And people talk to me all the time about outside events and why I promote outside events so much. And that doesn't just mean GoPro, and that doesn't just mean, obviously, the ANMP. I love Ray Higdon. I think his work is great. I love the mastermind with Art Jonak and Randy Gage and Tom Schreider. Those guys have done a good job. And I'm telling you, that's where I learned to be a great network marketer. Well, before I went to those places, I was a good network marketer, and I was the talk of my company. I mean, everybody in my company thought I was all of it in a bag of chips, and therefore I thought I was all of it in a bag of chips. So I'd go to the conventions acting like I knew what I was doing. And finally, Denise, my wife, of course, said, you know what, we're going to spend a year and we're going to go to every event. 100% of them, I don't care what it costs, we're going to go to every event. And so we teed it up, we put it on our schedule, we wrote big checks, and we went to every event for a year. And I am telling you, the wheels came off. The wheels came off. Here, let's first of all, the lid came off. The lid came off of what could be done as far as earnings go. The lid came off of what could be accomplished as far as rank and all that goes. The lid came off as far as hope goes because I finally realized that I could compete and be in the same league as those big network marketers. I just had to learn the skills. And all that happened as a result of the outside events. And that book that I talked about earlier called Edgy Conversations with Dan Waldschmidt, that's kind of it, because at your own company, they're all telling you how wonderful you are and you're believing it and you're winning, but you're not winning. You're just giving it all you got in a very, very small pool. But there's a giant pool out there that you have no idea of the talent and the earnings and everything. And that's what I got from the outside events. And the whole speech is, well, send your people to the outside event. Somebody's going to recruit your downline. And that I say to you, not if you've done your job. If you've done your job and you've created a culture where they will never leave, no matter what, look at Amway. You can't wedge people out of Amway with a crowbar. Why? Because they've created a culture. And then they put systems inside of that culture. And after that, they've got these people, man, they buy that tape of the month with more cost than the money that they're making because of how it makes them feel. And you get the regulators coming in here and you get the MLM haters, and they all talk about how much money people don't make in multi-level marketing and what fools we all are. And it's so crazy because for most multi-level marketers, it's not about the money. It's about the family. It's about what you get, how you get lifted up, how you feel. My buddy Wendy Matthews, I saw her on here, and yesterday she on another wall. She was talking about her life over the last couple of years and how she's coming back, and she's coming back bigger than ever. And you know what? This is the perfect place to do it because you got people that aren't, in corporate America probably, and I don't knock corporate America at all, but to get to the top, you have to step on somebody's head. And in this profession, it's exactly the opposite. To get to the top, you have to lift people up with you. And that's exciting for me. It's the greatest thing in the world. And it's on Dan McCormick. There's another legend on here. Unbelievable. Keep going.
Well, no, I just wanted to say, because I think, the ANMP, the, Eric Worre, the GoPro, all of these different events that I've been to, what was amazing to me was that understanding how we were doing it is the right way, right? A lot of people never get that experience to see how to do it the right way.
Yeah, and you get a lot of validation, and I've always had charisma. I mean, ever since a little kid, I was just this little hustler ever since I was a little kid, but I didn't have any skills. And so therefore I was capped. And I couldn't figure out why I was capped because my arrogance was so big that I refused to accept somebody was better than me. But all of a sudden I figured that out and I learned what they know. And here we have me now. Let's go. We'll be back right after this. All right, now we're at the break again.
We're not listening to the commercials.
Oh,
my goodness.
Talk to Eric Worre.
Oh, my
Holy
gosh, is he
mackerel,
listening?
I'm going to start crying.
Oh.
It's unbelievable. So, yeah, this is the coolest thing
Eric.
in the world. And his son Taylor, seeing his whole family go down. We're on a commercial break now, you guys. So, we just have to kill time. And I could do commercials but I'm not going to try to hawk things. I'm not going to try to sell a bunch of
That's
things
not you.
and send people to contactmapping.com.
You would never do that.
www or anything else that I might want to be.
I can't believe the logo's not back here with the website.
That's what I did yesterday.
Eventually.
On Garrett McGrath's, I put the logo for contact mapping right behind me, but I'm not that kind of guy. But at the end of the day, so the commercials on this part aren't really commercials. We're just going to, I don't know if you used to watch Imus in the Morning, this is what I'm going to model this show after that, because he had the same problem. He was on live radio with all those endless commercials in between, and it was horrific for him too. So they would just unplug during the commercials, and you could see all those guys pick their noses and do all the crazy stuff that you. Can I have that glass of water there, by the way, or vodka, whatever I'm drinking?
Whatever it is.
But yeah, Eric Worre, I hope you were listening before when I talked about GoPro, when I talked about what an influence you and your entire network marketing pro world have been upon me. And I'm telling everybody that if you aren't a part of that GoPro family, you can't believe it. You can't believe what happens to you. And as a matter of fact, for no reason other than I love it, I'm going down to Australia, to the Gold Coast, in the middle of July to go to that event down there. Ken Smith from Australia, from Brisbane's on here right now watching. I'm going down there because that I get so much more than I give. It's unbelievable. And the weather down there is awesome. And going down there to that Gold Coast and seeing that life and seeing Brisbane and seeing Ken and Elaine and all those people we know down there is going to be unbelievable. And did you hear you know what I just heard?
What?
Guess what?
I don't know. It's the community.
You're not guessing.
I don't know what
Nike Russell. The little leprechaun from GoPro staff, the little tiny woman that's so nice that looks about
she's going. If she's going, then I got to go.
No, I might take you with me. And she's 16, and she looks like she's 16, and she's a grandmother.
She does.
She's the nicest, hardest working kid in the world. In 20 years, she says, I never would have dreamt that I was going to get to go to something like this in my life. And she's going to go down there. We're going to make sure. I told Denise to go. When I found I was just going to go down by myself, and I told Denise, because Eric sent a Nike, that we got to go down there and help make that thing spectacular for that kid. So
that'd be fun.
It's just so
phenomenal. And we just got back
Eric says, guess what? Eric's going too.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, so that's exciting.
Well, because we just got back from the GoPro, the women's event, which was tremendous, and I think this has been like my third or fourth year, and so that was so fun. And is it Nike or Nikki?
Nikki, probably.
Nikki, okay. Anyway, she was just tremendous working with me and getting that all put together. So shout out to her, because she really, truly is amazing. And, Eric surrounds himself.
Unless Phil Knight's her dad.
Oh,
I doubt it's Nike.
Oh, no.
It's probably Nikki. And I'm sure she loves the fact that you can't even pronounce her name.
Me?
So, yeah. So, and I'm telling all you guys doing Facebook Lives. I mean, you're doing them for hours on end. Richard, Brooke, everybody. Mm-hmm. You should have commercial breaks like this. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's
the
like
breaks are almost more fun than the show.
It is.
That is so exciting. We've come across a new trend. I know you guys hate them out there because you're having,
Listen, you don't have to listen to the commercials, because some of those commercials are a little edgy.
Yeah. And you know how David Letterman always talked about how hot it was in his studio?
He wasn't lying.
Oh, no, how cold it was in his studio.
Cold?
And everybody that was in the audience was freezing to death. It's because of all the lights that he's sitting under. Because I am telling you, I feel like I am in a microwave oven.
I cannot lift my arms up.
I know it. It's unbelievable. So we didn't anticipate that either. And it's just crazy. Get in here. Hurry up. Come in. Hurry. So you have to meet my little niece. She's only about 12 years old. She just turned 15. Turn around. Just come right behind here.
Hurry.
We're on a commercial. So you can come in.
We're coming.
This is my niece, Bridget. She drove all the way from Littleton to watch this show she knows nothing about, because I want her to be a network marketer when she grows up, because she wants horses, she wants boyfriends, she wants all those things. The only way she's going to get them is to pay attention to her Uncle Tom. Get out of here. We got to go back to work in 4 seconds. All right.
All right.
Here we go. All right, we're back. You know, I have more trouble with the countdown with my fingers than anything else. Get to be this age, 65, and all kinds of things stop working. Not only my fingers. It's unbelievable. We are Tom Chenault and Marianne Niehaus, and we're the Tom Chenault Show. Second half of the show, we are so happy you are here, so happy you're watching this thing or listening to it. Thank you very much to Genesis Communications Network and Ted Anderson for letting us be on the radio and do this show at the same time. We are honored that you have chosen us to stay on the air with you for all these years. And we're having a blast today, aren't we?
This is hilarious. And, we get text messages during the show and stuff, so we know people are listening. But this is great because we get to see their comments and we get to know that they're really listening, right?
Yeah. And, there it again. Eric Worre, you're right about that. Calvin Starr, there's another legend. I remember you so much, and I don't know what company you're with now, but from the Monavie days, and I used to watch what you did, and I was always jealous because you were such a good-looking guy doing so much for the profession and had such a massive, massive imprint on everything. And the name of the game is this is the profession where ordinary people that had it. I went through so much. At age 37, I finally quit drinking, and my life shifted a lot. But between 37 and 39, I thought my life was over. And to be able to get this after that, to get completely a reset, and most of you know what I'm talking about, where you've just been sitting in your life going, if I could just get a reset. And, it's kind of like my son. I think he's 33 now. My 33-year-old son out there in Zurich, Switzerland, 3 kids, working his fingers to the bone, making a ton of money. But every time he went up the ladder a little more, they took a little bit more of his life, a little more of his serenity, a little bit more of everything. And he finally said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to die. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my sanity. And he jumped off the top of the ladder all the way back down to the bottom again and came home to Longmont to work with his dad. Just like Taylor Worre's doing over at Life Vantage, where he's just decided to jump off the ladder and play it back into network marketing. And, I looked at all the kids at GoPro for Women, Hillary Grossman and her mom, Lisa, and Denny Robinson and her daughter. And watching that go down, you can't imagine the pride of that when one of your children decides to join you in your business, or your best friend that you've known for 30 years that's grinded it out in a terrible job and looked at you with disdain every day of your life because he thought that terrible job was security, even though he was a hostage, and he finally hit the reset button 20 years later and said, I'm ready to go. You can't imagine how that feels. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And, I think about my family within this community, and seriously, in many, many cases, I'd rather hang out with them than my I hope nobody's listening, but my real family, you know what I mean? It's, you get so close to these people, and they're people you love, you care about, and you do life with them. And when your kids start showing up, that's even better.
Yeah, and and what I want you guys to understand is if you truly believe what's coming out of your mouth, and I can tell this for sure in network marketing, this is something I'm positive of. When somebody says, do I have to call my friends and family? That's the first big tell for me. And that first big tell is I'm not telling my family or my friends because I don't think this is going to work. Because if I were to offer you right now a $100 bill for $1 and tell you had to give it to 4 friends, you wouldn't I got to go on the internet and find somebody to give this $100 to. No, you're going to go give it to somebody you love. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The money that I invested in my business at the very beginning was far less than proportionately $1 for a $100 bill. And the people that I brought into my business, I bring in the people I love with game. And I pray that they can see it. And if they can't see it, I know they're going to see it one of these days if I don't run them completely out of my life by badgering them. And that's the name of the game. You can't badger people. You don't like to be badgered. You can't bash corporate America. You can't bash their job. You can't bash their life. You can just show them how happy you are, right?
Right, because they're doing the best they can with what they got, with their knowledge, and I think our what do I want to say? We are the ones that need to get out there and really educate people about what this profession means, and being the example, being the example around that.
You've got to learn the skills. I am telling you, you got to learn the skills. And learning the skills is not easy. And you think, you go read the GoPro book one time and you think you got the skills. No. You've got to live those skills. You've got to breathe those skills. You've got to be the example of those skills. You've got to show people that you are learning those skills, teaches them the skills. Otherwise, it's going to break. You're only effective in your business about 3 levels down. So those skills and the systems are what's going to carry you to success. Because what you're trying to do is build a giant duplicatable network here that delivers a tremendous amount of product. And the way that it does is the skills. So go get that GoPro book and read it over and over and over again. That Daniel Rhymes is the man. This guy, everything that I do.
Oh, my God. He's unbelievable.
He hates my voice, I think, or something. Or he hates the way I mispronounce about every 4 words. So what he's done is almost everything that I've done as far as a hard training, he's gone and done it over again. And he records it himself. And at the end of it, he goes, "This is Daniel Rhymes. I'm recording this on behalf of the work of Tom Chenault and www.contactmapping.com." And it's the cutest thing in the world because he does that with everything because he's trying to prove to me he's not trying to steal my stuff. He's trying to make it more eloquent. And I called him on the phone and I said, "Why are you doing it really? I mean, that's taking you a lot of time." And he said, "I have to, if I do that perfectly, it takes me about 10 times to do that perfectly. That means I've done this work of what I was trying to learn 10 times. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, I know it so I can teach it." And that is absolute masterful. And I need to do that. I would be better if I could repeat twice what I said. It would be unbelievable.
That would be unbelievable. But I think, what's interesting, like the, GoPro book, I don't even know how many times. I said 10 times. I'm not sure how many times I've read that. But each time I read it, each time I go to, read one of these books or go to these events, I hear one little thing that I didn't hear last time. I read one new thing that I didn't get last time, and it changes everything.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys about it. So you think you're good enough because you came out of corporate America. And you think you're good enough because you've been in your company and they're all calling you all of it in a bag of chips because you hit the top rank. And you think you're good enough and you think you're good enough and you think you're good enough. But that reminds me of my mother. And my mother, she cooked our dog. So just giving you some idea of what my childhood was like. We had 500 cats and 50 dogs and no money. And one night we came in for a roast and it had 4 legs sticking up in the air. And I said, "What is that?" And she said it was roast, but it had a collar on it. That's my mom. I mean, she was the wildest, greatest woman in the world. And just unbelievable. But fried chicken was the favorite food I ever had in my life. I loved fried chicken growing up. I still love fried chicken. And in the passwords that when you say, okay, you have to answer some questions about you that people won't know, and one of them is, "What's your favorite food?" Mine is fried chicken.
And your mom's fried chicken to start off with.
Do you want to tell the story?
No.
Okay, so here's the deal. So this fried chicken was interesting. Oh, and I love the mashed potatoes and the gravy too. And the mashed potatoes.